Hello and welcome to Inside Sports. I'm your host, Todd Blackstock. The USA Olympic Gymnastics Trials were recently held here in St. Louis. Attendance records were broken, and STL really put its best foot forward hosting the event. And Brent Shulman from the St. Louis Sports Commission will join us via Zoom to discuss this and some other major attractions and events coming to our region. Plus, Fontbonne University has launched a new college football league with a slightly different set of rules, and the Vice President of Athletics, Maria Buckel, will join us in studio with all the details. So stay with us for this and much more coming up next on Inside Sports. Welcome to the show. The St. Louis Sports Commission began operations in 1989 and since then has been negotiating for and hosting high-profile sporting events in our region, like men and women's NCAA basketball and hockey Final Fours, wrestling championships, Major League Baseball and NHL All-Star games, and PGA major golf events, just to name a few. They've been selected the National Association of Sports Commissions Member of the Year 3 times and recently hosted the USA Olympics Gymnastics Trials. At this time, we'd like to welcome the Director of Public Relations and Strategic Communications of the St. Louis Sports Commission, Brent Shulman, to Inside Sports. Brent, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me today, Todd. And, really exciting here in St. Louis, St. Louis and the St. Louis Sports Commission hosting the Olympic Gymnastics Trials, as well as the USA Gymnastics Championships, which is rhythmic, acrobatic, trampoline, and tumbling. There were 1,600 athletes that competed in the championships. And on the trials side, so incredible to have Simone Biles and Sam McCulloch and all the other wonderful gymnasts here in St. Louis that you'll see in Tokyo. And, the men's and women's teams were named here in St. Louis. Taking a step back for a second, you were talking about the attendance record. So the event originally supposed to be at Enterprise Center, and the St. Louis Blues and the Enterprise Center folks were a huge part of having that event and being awarded that event here in St. Louis, which we were back in April of 2019. The event was then sold out January of 2020. Obviously, we all know what the last almost year and a half have been like. But because of COVID restrictions and because the importance of keeping the athletes safe in advance of the Tokyo Olympics, the event was moved to the Dome in America Center just about 6 weeks before the event. And what a great event it was for St. Louis and the exposure for the region, having the hotel rooms and restaurants filled up. But also, our staff, we're just the tip of the iceberg. We have such great partners in the community, 15 gymnastics clubs that live this, wonderful sport every day. The Dome and America Center folks were wonderful to work with. And, we couldn't have pulled this off without the community support as well.
Seeing it on CBS and watching the national coverage of it, it was incredible. I mean, they staged the city so beautifully, and the sight lines and the Mississippi River and the Arch. I mean, that's priceless advertising right there. And when you go into another negotiation for a basketball event or a Frozen Four or another Olympic trial, how important is it to have that attendance record and then have the views of the city looking so beautiful going into those negotiations?
No, that's a great point. And, that's very important to us as an organization. As I mentioned, there's only 10 of us. But, we are always looking for, different opportunities to bring high profile events that showcase the city of St. Louis, that showcase what a wonderful place this is, to live, visit, work, and play. And, one of those things that, the rights holders are always looking at St. Louis and seeing, how do we do with other events? They're having conversations kind of behind the scenes as well with the other rights holders, wanting to know, how, the staff did, how the city showed up, whether the restaurants and bars and all the attractions were open, to kind of, staff up kind of for fans and things like that. So definitely very important to show St. Louis well. And thanks to our community partners and everybody else, St. Louis showed extremely well that week.
It was pretty neat seeing Simone Biles right there on the stage leading the Olympic team into the Olympics being announced right here in St. Louis. You have a lot of other events that have recently taken place here in St. Louis. The The youth soccer championships out in St. Louis County was a tremendous success. Can you discuss that a little bit? Because it seems like there was dozens of teams from around the country that came here for that.
That's a great event that also took place around that time, June 25th to 30th. And there were 224 youth soccer teams, 13U to 19U from all around the Midwest. And, that's an event that, filled up hotel rooms from all around the region. As there were all the fields used at the Creve Coeur Park Soccer Complex and the Lou Fuse Soccer Complex, like you mentioned. And that's an event that we're going to look at bringing back here in the near future. Is tremendously successful, and great partners of ours at Missouri Youth Soccer and all the other folks around the area too that really kind of stepped up and showcased that event. And we were definitely going to look forward to bringing that event back.
After Arch Madness last year, the Missouri Valley Tournament, COVID hit, everything was shut down, and we lost those NCAA regional tournament games. Is there a way to get those back, or can you push that back to a few years down the road, or is that just a loss?
Unfortunately, those events were kind of just a loss, but the bid process, we were awarded some additional NCAA championships coming up, including the men's Frozen Four, which is coming back for the first time in 2025. St. Louis last hosted that event in 2007. And I know in my 13 years with the organization, everyone always tells me that 2007 Frozen Four was their favorite event they've hosted. So Frozen Four is huge for the men's side, and then bringing back the NCAA men's basketball tournament too in 2026. So a few years off, but we have some other exciting events coming up before that as well.
We sure do. And how about the Bomarito 500 coming up over at Worldwide Racetrack? I mean, that's going to be a huge event, a lot of Indy cars. What can you tell us about that?
That is such a neat event over there at the Worldwide Technology Raceway. And, Curtis Francois and his team over there are such terrific partners of ours and do such a great job. And I know they continue to put on a great show for the national audience they have and for the people that come every year for that August event. And such a neat event. And if anybody hasn't been over there to check that out, I certainly encourage them to get over there in August.
Do you know any of the drivers that are going to be coming to that event? Any of the big time guys?
I'm not sure if the lineup's been announced yet or who's going to be coming yet, but I know on their website they definitely have a lot of good information and ways that fans can get involved, and they kind of have a whole kind of week-long festival too of different activities and things like that people can be a part of as well.
Now you have some annual events each year that everybody looks forward to. One of them, the 2021 Biz-5K presented by Worldwide Technology. That's a recurring event. That's coming up. I know you're excited about that as well. And how can someone sign up for that?
It is, and it's one of our favorite events, and we're bringing it back to Ballpark Village this year, which is where we started before all the construction down there. And such a great event. People can sign up individually on our website, which is stlbiz-.com. Or it's, they can sign up with their company teams as well. That's kind of the big part of it is companies using it as kind of a corporate kind of wellness, team bonding, kind of fun night out in St. Louis, that they use every year. So we have 200 plus company teams that usually sign up, and then people can sign up and then go down with their coworkers and kind of hang out before and after the race too. We'll have some music, some food, and definitely check it out on Thursday, September 2nd.
Looks like there's a big golf tournament coming in September at Norwoods Hill Country Club. You got the Musial Awards in November, and the 2021 Division III Women's Volleyball is coming in November. How excited are you about that?
Such great event. I mean, that's the one thing that I enjoy about our work is, people always want to talk about the large events that come to St. Louis, but, even those Division II and Division III events are so important, not only for the community, but for those student athletes. I want to make sure those student athletes have the same experience, at the smaller championships they do at the large championships. So, whatever we can do to kind of enhance that athlete experience is something that's really key for myself and for our coworkers as well. So definitely excited about that coming back in November.
I know you're very excited about all the sponsors, all the volunteers and everybody. How can someone get involved with the St. Louis Sports Commission? I know there's all kinds of different tiers from, CEOs of company sponsoring events to people that want to volunteer and many things in between. Before we let you go, can you tell us maybe a couple of tiers of how people can get involved with the Sports Commission?
Absolutely. No, there's a couple different ways. We have a membership program because we are a private nonprofit organization that people can, support us, but also just at a volunteer level. Volunteers are so key for our events. And, we couldn't put on the Olympic trials or the NCAA wrestling championships or any of those events without key volunteers. So all that information is on our website, which is stlsports.org. And then we also have a young professionals group called the Sports Commission Associates. And that's, young professionals in the community that like to get involved. And, the membership dues are very affordable for that as well. And so all that information as well on our website, stlsports.org.
So how's that MLS Stadium coming? I know you're a big part of that, and it's right by your office, so you can probably hear the cranes and all the tractors and the rumblings of our new soccer stadium going up.
But it's right outside our office, and we're so lucky because we've been in our office space now for about 12 years, and just kind of neat to kind of see that from afar. And I know all the ownership group and everybody else are doing such a wonderful job in the community, and as their staff is starting to come together, you can really see kind of making their footprint here in downtown West.
Exciting times in St. Louis, and thank you and the St. Louis Sports Commission for all you do to our region and bringing great events. It is so special, and we thank you so very much.
Well, thank you so much for having me today, Todd.
Thanks again, Brent. We're going to take a quick break now, and when we return, we'll discuss a new football league being launched by a local university. We'll be right back.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes, and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Welcome back to the show. Fontbonne University is nestled along Big Bend Boulevard, just west of Forest Park. There are a lot of exciting programs and upgrades taking place there, and one of those is the launching of a new college sprint football league. And joining us now is the Vice President of Athletics, Maria Buckel. Maria, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
It seems like Fontbonne is in regional news right now a lot because of this new football league. It's very exciting and it's very diversified. Can you tell us about the new Sprint Football League and how it's kind of getting founded?
Yeah, so part of how we got started was our president, Dr. Nancy Blotner, her husband, she was talking to him and bemoaning about how whenever she was at Caldwell University, they had started a sprint football league and how she wasn't getting to see it and how we couldn't compete against them. And he just kind of flippantly said, well, start your own league. And at first she's like, well, that's kind of snarky. And then she's like, wait a second, start my own league. So then I get a call from her all excited, like, what if we start a sprint football league? And I'm like, okay, what is sprint football? But sure, let's go ahead and explore this. So we started making calls to athletic directors and presidents to ask if they were interested in starting sprint football with us and starting a league. And so a couple Mondays ago, we started the Midwest Sprint Football League with 5 other institutions, and we're just really excited. Sprint football, in case the viewers don't know, is actually a really old sport. There's another conference in the Northeast. It's called the Collegiate Sprint Football League. It's made up of Navy, Penn, Army, Cornell, and some other Division I and Division IIs, including Caldwell, where Dr. Blotner was. And it's 11v11, just the same, but you have to weigh 178 pounds or less. So
why do you have to weigh 178 pounds or less?
A lot of it just is really fast paced. It's referred to partially as lightweight football, okay. And just a lot more scoring and just a different brand of football. So we're excited to bring sprint football to St. Louis. We feel like we've got some hunger for some football currently in the St. Louis region, and we want to be the collegiate team for sprint football in not only just St. Louis, but also for the state of Missouri.
You know, a lot of things can grow from this, and actually I want to congratulate you because you're the inaugural first commissioner of the Sprint Football League here in St. Louis, and you know, what are some of your goals and visions for this league?
Yeah, so one is to grow the sport. I think that a lot of students, whenever you're thinking about starting a sport as an athletic director, you want to give students an opportunity to continue to play the sport they love while earning a collegiate degree. And unfortunately, for whether legitimate reasons or not, several football players are passed up because of their stature. So whenever we're looking at having 80 players on Fontbonne, we impact those 80 players. But you multiply that by multiple schools, and the number of students that you're impacting just grows. And so we want to grow the league. We also are looking to hopefully collaborate some with the CSFL and the Northeast and do hopefully a bowl game with them, which I think would be really exciting. So stay tuned for some opportunities with that.
Now, you said 80 players per roster?
Yes.
That's a lot. I mean,
Yes.
how do you get them all involved in playing the game? I know it's high, you know, fast paced.
Yeah, so I'll let the coach deal with it. I try to stay in my lane, but for sure, I mean, it's similar to you see a traditional football roster.
Same rules and
Yeah.
everything. I mean, they kick extra points and you kick off and.
Everything's the same except you have
Except
to
for all
be
the kids
smaller.
that, you know, maybe they don't play soccer and they're not big enough to make a Division I, II, or III football team. They can now play this.
For sure. My husband's a Saints fan, and whenever we would be watching Saints games, I'm like, he could play sprint football. So it's not to say that if you weigh 178 pounds or less that you're not talented, but at the same time, you may get overlooked.
And so you're launching this year, and I guess 2022 is when you're going to roll out the first season?
Yes, that is when we'll invite you to the first game
Yeah.
that we have for our sprint football team at Fontbonne.
Maybe you'll need a PA guy. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. I like that.
Well, heck, there's a lot of great things going on there. If someone wants to get involved with that particular program, right now I'm sure you're going through the coaching search and all that. Is there a contact information or?
Yes, so just contact me, Maria Buckel. My information is on our website, which is fontbonnegriffins.com. We do have applications for additional schools that might be interested. We have some schools that weren't ready to launch but are interested in starting come fall 2023. They just didn't have kind of all their ducks in a row to launch for fall 2022. So really excited to see where this goes and hope that we can see it continue to grow across the country, and it won't take 83 years to start another.
Right. Well, let's talk about Fontbonne. A lot of great things are going on over there. Division III championships are coming to WashU. You guys are right down the street, but your volleyball program has really done some great things and got some national acclaim recently.
Yeah, our men's volleyball program this past season went on to the Final 12, so the actual national site for the NCAA Division III tournament. Have been nationally ranked. Our libero, Zach Rothstein, actually broke the digs record for all of Division III. It's a really fun brand of volleyball to watch, and I would invite anybody out to come and see them play. They play against the powers across the country, and it's just a lot of fun.
Now, Fontbonne student athletes have also, received some national attention. Some individuals. I know you wanted to share with us some of the individual achievements on some of the student athlete teams.
Yeah, so we've had a lot of individual accolades, whether it be All-Conference, All-American, as I just mentioned with Zach being nationally ranked, as well as we have a baseball pitcher, Luke Summers, who hopefully will get drafted in the upcoming draft. So we're excited about that and look forward to see where everything goes.
Now, there's a lot of new programs coming out to Fontbonne University as well. I know you're excited about.
Yeah, so one of the really exciting programs, and again, Dr. Nancy Blattner, whenever she started her first year, she's like, we need to really be able to offer Fontbonne such a wonderful education to more students. And one of the things, obviously, is sprint football, but another was looking at starting a nursing program. So we are in our final stages. We just had a visit with our Higher Learning Commission, our national accreditor, and look forward to hopefully offering a nursing program to freshmen and transfers come fall 2022, just lined up with sprint football. So a lot of exciting things come in fall 2022, in addition to all of the great things that we currently offer at the institution.
Well, that should go nicely with the renovations going on the campus right now. I mean, it's a beautiful university right there off of Big Bend Boulevard. You're right down the street from Wash U, as we alluded to.
Yes.
But what sort of things are you expanding into or just renovating?
Yeah, so we're working on a lot of facility upgrades across campus. We're renovating our dining hall, and then we've got some additional outdoor spaces, trying to add pergolas and some sitting areas and things of that nature. But with the addition of sprint football, we want to make sure that we can offer the student athlete experience that we'd like to, and the best experience possible for our student athletes, not just within sprint football, but for all of our programs. So we'll be doing some renovations to our weight room, our athletic training facilities, and beyond, just within our athletic facilities. So really exciting things happening.
Wow. I know diversification is very important at Fontbonne University. I mean, the principal is a woman. The athletic director, yourself, and the commissioner of this new league. A lot of women in St. Louis are becoming more increasing in their roles in commissioners and front office type jobs. And I think it's a nice trend going on.
No, it's wonderful. I think that most people don't really realize that me being a woman in a male-dominated industry, I definitely recognize that we have 4 athletic directors that are female in the area. We've got, obviously, the MLS team, 2 owners that are females. You've got Kalia Collier with the Surge, that's the owner, and started a league there with the St. Louis Surge.
And she's the vice president of community relations for the soccer team.
100%. And then you've got Patty Viverito, who is the first, football commissioner that's a woman in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. So there's just a lot going on, and I think that that's just incredible, being a mother of a daughter, but then also one of the organizations I belong to as Women Leaders in College Sports, and one of the things they really talk about is Lift as You Rise. So making sure that young women and girls can see that they don't have to be confined to what traditionally they're supposed to do for a career, that they can really aspire to do anything that they so choose them to do, even if that is working within sports.
Mm-hmm. Is there a point, though, where diversification may go a little bit too far? I mean, right now with all the Olympic talks, I mean, you've got a, Olympic sprinter that I guess she was suspended from the team for a marijuana violation. But, there's biological males that are competing now in Olympic events and in high schools and in colleges around the country. Some states allow it, some don't. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but there's got to be a line where women's sports aren't just thrown away, because if guys have a little more muscle and they're bigger just by nature, then what happens to Title IX and what happens to all the women's sports if biological males can come in and just take their spots?
I think whenever talking about health and safety, you really have to rely on the physicians to weigh in on that, and I'm definitely not in that realm. I think for me, you really have to look at it from the people aspect. I know some people that are transgendered, so I can understand the struggles that they come through and the limitations that they have put on them, not different than what I've talked about just previously with regards to girls or women who want to aspire to certain things within their life or their careers. And I think that it's important to realize that transgendered individuals also probably feel some of those restrictions. So I think it's an ever-evolving situation. And
would you ever consider, as an administrator in NCAA sports and a commissioner of the league, would you maybe consider expanding into another category? You have men's, women's, and then maybe transgender. That way the women still can have their platform, the men, and then the transgender maybe in the middle somewhere, and maybe not as an expanded process, but would that be something that would be considered?
I think that that's something for the associations to look at more so. So I know that the NCAA has had stance and kind of policies as it surrounds, but again, it's an ever-evolving situation, and I think you have to have some level of consistency across the associations of how you're handling these things because of the competition that's involved.
What about the Football League? Can girls try out?
It's been a question that we have actually gotten. Yeah, it's a question we've gotten, and essentially we're still having that conversation. It's going back again to the doctors and saying, okay, what does and doesn't make sense? Because obviously if you bring the weight down, you don't have the 350 versus the 150 players just hitting each other. But we do know that our biology is different. So we want to make sure that we really evaluate that fully to know where we decide to go with that. And obviously, I think the coaches will have be able to weigh in on that, as well as the athletic directors, presidents, but the medical professionals are the ones, because at the end of the day, we trust the science behind it.
Sure. Well, I want to congratulate you on being named the commissioner and the athletic director or vice president of athletics at Fontbonne. Yes. I mean, you're making strides, and it seems like St. Louis is an excellent area for people making strides, and and things like that. So it's a good place to be. And any final thoughts about Fontbonne University or the new football league you'd like to discuss before we let you go?
I would just say that Fontbonne is a wonderful institution with a variety of majors. We are constantly recruiting. I know I'm an alum. I had a wonderful experience, and that's part of the reason that I wound up going into athletics and into higher education. Very personalized touch that you just won't find everywhere. So I think that just come by, give us a shot. We're a great community, and beyond that, I would say go Griffins and go MSFL.
Yeah, how about let's go Surge too, because you guys this year kind of helped the St. Louis Surge out by hosting their 2021 season. And I know Clea is very excited about it, and I think that you guys host a great game there, and you've got a great facility, and congratulations.
Yeah, you could double up. Come see a Surge game and campus all at the same time.
All at the same time. Well, Maria Buckel, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
On Inside Sports. We appreciate it. Well, that's our show for today. We'd especially like to thank Fontbonne University and the St. Louis Sports Commission for making this show possible. We'd like to thank you for watching Inside Sports on STL TV. Experience St. Louis.